Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today is another of my very good longtime friends, Rob Morse. Rob is, I would have said old friends, and although he is old, he doesn't like it when I say that.
It's okay.
So, Rob, thanks for joining us today, man.
My pleasure, Paul. It's been great to watch you move into this job and watch it expand day to day.
It's been an adventure. It really has. Let's talk about how I first came into contact with you, and that's through your blog, Slow Facts. I first started my journey into the Second Amendment advocacy world in 2012 when I was hoping to, 2012, when I was hoping to prevent another Barack Obama administration. And I ran across this blog, Slow Facts. And you, of course, were the purveyor of that blog. But going back further than that, when did you start Slow Facts, and how did it come about?
Yeah, I'd noticed some strange things in my area. I lived in San Diego at the time. My wife became an expert on marriage, and I don't mean that like she tells people how to live. She's an economist. She goes, hey, if you go to school longer, this is how your life will play out on average. If you mess up your marriage, this is how your life will play out on average. And when she said that in California, that became hate speech. Her life was threatened. People said some very shocking things like, we hope your children get arrested and raped in prison.
Oh, geez.
And I went, wow, this is bizarre. Just because my wife said, if you blow up your marriage, it's going to affect you and your children for generations. Those are just facts. And I'd had a pistol for years. It was a 22 target pistol. I learned to shoot Olympic small bore pistol, and the guns I had were infinitely unqualified for self-defense. I went and investigated the gun community in my area. It turns out the chaplain for the San Diego police and the sheriff's department, same guy, same pair of guys, was a friend of a friend. And I said, hey, I've got this situation. And he goes, look, yeah, you can't carry in San Diego. That's not available to you. Short of you becoming a politician and running for office and getting elected, or yeah, you can't get there, but you can carry it home. And there's some other people like you that want to be trained. So my entry to self-defense was through the police chaplain.
Wow. So what prompted you to start the Slow Facts blog?
Shortly after a group of us went to Front Sight in Nevada, I thought that was profound because there's Grandma in a wheelchair next to me. There's an ex-Marine on my other side. There's a police chaplain over here. And we're going through similar 4-day training. And at the end of it, they have us put up a hostage target. So the person you care about is in front of someone holding them hostage. And you'd walk up and write your name on that. Here, this is the person I'm here to protect. Most of us it was. So in some cases it was a daughter, a wife, could have been a child. And that struck me so emotionally. That was the emotional hook for those 4 days. And I wrote about it. And it's called The Letter Home. It was my first post on Slow Facts because I said, wow, this is a picture of the gun culture that I didn't know about. We're not all a bunch of guys wearing denim and suspenders. And at the end of 4 days, Grandma has the precision, has the discipline to know when to shoot and when not to, and she has the capability of defending her family.
All right, very cool. So you've been around longer than I have. Let's put it that way.
I'm older than you are.
Well, you've been doing Second Amendment advocacy and Second Amendment media work longer than I have.
Just by a little bit. Only a few years, Paul.
Well, it's still you. I got this used on me the other day, so I'm going to use it on you. You're one of the grandfathers in Second Amendment media. What I'm trying to get at, I want to explore what, looking back on the history of slow facts, and we're talking 10 years.
Right.
What are some of the things you've done that you're the most proud of that you've written for slow facts?
In some, Paul, like you get to meet fascinating people and tell their story.
Right.
And sometimes the fascinating story is of a people rather than of an individual. So I've lived in California. I've been able to travel around, talk to people from around the country, and I went, wow, they're not all the same. They face very different situations. And I put the numbers together. And I said what feel like the small differences between states, what a judge would say are inconsequential differences. Yeah, but you can still get a permit. Yeah, except in one state it's $10 and 20 minutes, and in another state it's 10 months and hundreds of dollars, if not longer than 10 months. And I was able I took John Lott's data, John and I will trade data, and then mapped out how often we bother to get our carry permits in different states. And as you'd expect, well, in some states it's forbidden effectively, and in other states like Hawaii, and in other states, parts of the state, there are about 10 million people, a quarter of the population of California, can go get their permit. They don't do it in quite the rate that other states do because it's onerous. But I laid out that those delays, that those costs disarm us. Okay, is that a theoretical import or practical import? And then you go, well, look at crime. We're told that sexual assault is fairly common. Well, then we have tens of thousands of rape victims who were denied the ability to defend themselves, and thousands who would have if armed defense were available to them. I'm trying to let people see from a broader experience, and the fact that we've disarmed victims was some of the most, still to me, the most compelling things I've put together.
Disarming Victims, that brings to mind, and you and I have discussed this on the Polite Society many times, the case of Carol Bowen, the woman in New Jersey who had attempted to get a permit just to have, not to carry, just to have a pistol in her home, and New Jersey kept delaying, and she was killed waiting for her permit.
Yep.
That is unfortunately something we see. Carol Bowen is the one that sticks out, but there are other cases all over the country where delays and expenses are costing lives.
Well, can we take Collins, Amanda Collins, right? Mm-hmm. A nursing student. Was it UNV? She was a UNLV. Oh, Las Vegas, not Reno. And she has her permit. She's denied the ability to carry on campus. She's raped within sight of the campus police station. Of course, they're all gone. It's late at night when her class is done. She's done with an exam. Did she have friends guide her? Yeah. Took care of her all except for the last 50 feet. And that's where she was attacked, where a rapist went out from between two cars. He had a gun. She was disarmed. That rapist, that sexual assailant, would later go on to attack others and murder some women. When she was talking to the campus officials, they said, well, you can carry, but you have to keep it a secret because we wouldn't want other people to do it. When she was testifying in front of her state legislature, she was told, "Oh, it's probably better that you didn't have a firearm because your attacker probably would have taken it from you." And Amanda, had the presence of mind to say, "I'm sorry." And this is from a female representative, too, who threw that one at her. Talk about enabling the rapist. Said, he didn't need to steal my gun. He brought his and knew that I'd be disarmed.
And we talk, you have a show, which we'll be talking about in another daily bullet called Self-Defense Gun Stories. But on Polite Society, you and I have gone through countless defensive gun uses where it's better to use a gun in your own defense if you bring it yourself. But we've gone through several where the good guy's taking the bad guy's gun away. I have no numbers to support this. I don't know if you do, but I think it's much more likely for a good guy to take a bad guy's gun away than it is for a bad guy to take a good guy's gun away.
And there's some logic behind that. When you look at assaults, aggravated assaults, it turns out that, what was it, a little under, about 70% of the time, the assailant is intoxicated. Mm-hmm. Now, you can argue that you need to have liquid courage before you'll commit an assault and robbery, or part of the explanation may be, if you weren't intoxicated, you would not have committed it. Those are arguable. I'll entertain both. So when someone has a firearm and is intoxicated, and you and I have seen it, isn't it great that when you and I grew up, security videos were rare, and now they're the rule? A guy has a bag and a gun, puts the bag on the counter, the shopkeeper puts the money on the counter, the robber puts the gun down, reaches for the money, and it's three things, two hands, and now the shopkeeper grabs the gun. Sometimes it is just that straightforward crazy, and you go, yeah, I don't know what you're taking, but you had way too much of it.
So, and we're coming up on the time we have allotted for today. Before we start to shut this down, you've been picked up by a lot of media outlets. I know I'll let you go through them, but I know for a fact I see you on AmmoLand all the time, but a lot of other places too.
Right. My writing, which started at the slowfacts.wordpress.com blog, is picked up by Clash Daily and the Daily Surge. Those articles that refer to gun politics or are about self-defense, those will go over to AmmoLand. And also recently, AmmoLand asked me to write the Armed Citizen column where I go into length. Maybe we'll talk about that later. I'm on your podcast, The Polite Society, and once a week I'm on the radio for an hour with Bill Frady at Lock and Load Radio.
All right. Well, we are right up on the time we have. If somebody is interested in reading your stuff, it is, let me get to make sure, because you just said it, but my memory isn't what it was 20 years ago. slowfacts.wordpress.com is where they go, right?
Yes, and we'll find out how long WordPress will allow conservatives to keep publishing there, but if you remember Slowfacts, that'll get you there.
Very cool. Rob, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with us, man.
Oh, my pleasure, Paul.
Everybody, if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it. When you do, hit the notification bell so you know when we release another video, which we'll be doing tomorrow. Thank you for watching.